Well, how's everybody's evening going? I've been busy off YouTube, off social media, and it took getting federal help for who and what I was during Delphi, Karina McClurkin, and other missing murdered cases. You think the Indianapolis field office with the FBI and their joint task force with ISP and others are going to get justice? You are highly mistaken. Look up the FedEx mass shooter. FBI knowing intel, refusing to act, allowing many people to be murdered by a known suspect to the FBI and the Indianapolis field office. Prove me wrong. Just like the same time frame, 2016 to 2018, you had known criminal networks and known suspects for years known to the FBI, like Brad Holder and more than one of his criminal networks, the motorcycle clubs, the militia, his Norse and pagan kindred. The FBI knew about the Tears Hellhounds, and locals planned meeting from February 10th to the 12th. They had the FBI handler, Michael Curtis, in Delphi. And I love how so many of you guys are like, oh my God, George Stanley and Elvis Fields connections. Things I've talked about for years. And you want to know why so many of you in the true crime community have been just now getting aware of names like George Stanley, Elvis Fields, the ties and connections? I'm going to explain something to you. The cartel dealers and killers, their family and their friends are active right now on social media. I've got Tyler French, Megan Allen, Josh Eberling, multiple of these individuals saying they watched mine and other content creators. They're friends with content creators. Them and their families, once involved, are friends with content creators. Yeah, you heard me right. And they've been using this true crime community. These dealers turn more than one serial killer, and their family and friends have been using you as a true crime community for years now. So their family, and their friends don't see a second of justice. You think I'm lying? How about you ask Julie Melvin? Her Girls Rule chat members like Tina, Riddell, Shelley Collins. Who's Shelley Collins? Well, we're about to get what the Girls Rule and these little content creators that befriended the dealers and killers, family and friends, and at more than one. You've got people standing up for like Chris Watts. Oh yeah, in this true crime community, you had somebody doing a GoFundMe for the Chris Watts family. He's innocent. Ain't that right, Lena? You're caught out on national TV and taken to court by Chris Watts' family for a con that you pulled. And you and your friends have been pulling, along with these cartel dealers and killers, their family and friends, all in the name of content and the money that cartel, their dealers, and their family and friends have been feeding more than one of you content creators saying you're here for justice, you're here for the victims. Well, we're going to show some truth tonight. What Julie Melvin, when there's members of her Girls World chat admitting, like Tina Riddell, her daughter, Gabe Ellis and friends, named them all, came back covered in blood. When asked by members of this group, whose blood was it? Where? What from? The Delphi girls, with the exact date. She slipped up and said the 13th, but then she changed it to the 14th. Look at all these chats. These content creators. How about you look into Snay's family and the cartel drug ring, like Jennifer Snay and her friends? Remember, his favorite band is the Cherry Poppin' Daddies, and he's best friends with fucking two chomos, him and his son, Tony and his son. The same Tony who's taking pictures with Richie Klein, the same Richie Klein, I've got threats on my life. But yeah, he goes 4 different times now to see his favorite band, the Cherry Poppin' Daddies. Why, 2 of his longtime family friends, him and his family's longtime family friends, are known child molesters. And he goes and parades around and brags that he goes to see his Cherry Poppin' Daddy's favorite band. Remember how Prof was bringing up where the Tyson connections back to CJ and that cartel? He was begging me for everything I had. The more I refused, the more I became a troll. But yet, who's the real troll? Who's ones like Grandma Lena, Linda Miller, and others coming in your Rick Snace chats, feeding you intel, donating to your platform to keep you quiet. And what from? Here's the truth, the cold, hard truth, and nothing but the truth. The same ones that are saying they are for justice for these child victims and the troubled community, targeted, missing, and murdered. Terrorist acts on U.S. citizens by a now foreign terrorist organization. And you think I'm wrong? You think I'm nuts? I'm delusional? Well, how about you ask Julie Melvin and her Girls Rules chat, who are, here's just a few members, and I've screenshot every single one of these chats, every single admission that the Dillers and their family have admitted to. And this group has been withholding, gatekeeping, and protecting their own family and friends from seeing a day behind bars. And I want you to keep real close the names that you're seeing in these Girls Rule member chat groups. And why, you ask? Is groups like this and social media have been being used by all these individuals, the cartel, their family and friends. And I want to bring up to you another one of these, like you just seen, Shelly Collins was a known member of the Girls Rule chat. How about you ask Julie Melvin, Tina Riddell, Linda Miller, the same Linda Miller on the delusional Delphi docu series, were friends of theirs admitting to what? Using the true crime community just like them and their friends to protect dealers and killers, family and friends of theirs. Like Shelly Collins. Longtime family friends, George Stanley and his family and friends. All those in Rushville. You're seeing now on the leaked docs. It's names I've said for years now, and they've been using you as the true crime community. All the digging, all the harm that you as a community can do, they now, these Stillers and their family and friends, they sit on both sides, the pro prosecution, pro defense. The same dealers, their family and friends that are sitting with Brad Rossi, Mark Lehman, and their friends like Matthew Elkins, that yes, sits on Brad Rossi's friends list, just like Curtis Spouts and other elected politicians in that local area are longtime friends with Mark Lehman and Brad Rossi and their family and friends. Do you realize how many of the cartel dealers in 2018 raids that were picked up, proven cartel dealers by more than one federal agency? They're sitting longtime friends with Brad and Mark, two Kokomo, longtime lived in and worked in Kokomo. Their family and friends, their own adult children, longtime friends with Garrett Kurtz, Keegan Klein, their friends, known drug dealers, others proven, just like Keegan Klein, his friends that were involved with the Dropbox and the child exploitation. They don't want you to see the truth. And what the truth is right here. Ask Julie Melvin, Tina Riddell, Shelley Collins, Linda Miller. Each of these names, they go back to individual that is still active and around a cartel drug organization. Just like how Jenny Kroom, just wait till you hear the recorded calls where I had Jenny Kroom threatening me if I cared about my life. I wouldn't bring up her daughter, Brittany Mossholder. Sorry, I got that wrong. Mossholder. Look up the Mossholders out of Kokomo. The longtime cartel dealing. Picked up more than one raids. Then longtime friends with more than one proven serial killer. Garrett Kurtz, longtime friends of Brittany, just like the Richmond, Indiana dealer turned serial killer, Nico Washington. Matthew Elkins, other elected officials like Nita Duff, William Duff. You realize they're longtime family friends and close friends with other elected officials and rank and file law enforcement, prosecutors, attorneys. Just like Brett Sandefur and the Sandefur's family, longtime friends with Tony Liggett, Toby Lesenby, judges. Wait till you see the cartel dealers proven in 2018 raids sitting right there with Allen County Prosecutor's Office. Prosecutors, attorneys, staff, right there in Allen County. Allen County is a known cartel, just like the Kokomo, Lafayette, Delphi area. South Bend is an active cartel involved group that the FBI has known for years. I'm going to keep going with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the fucking truth. These Girl Rules members and their chat, and they keep going. They've got a new group right now. They've been trying to silence anybody that will show you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The same truth I swore. I raised my right hand, swore an oath at the age of 17, going into the United States Army. I got medically discharged. A traumatic brain injury that happened, that I've had content creators, their friends like Christina, Criminality, CJ, Greeno, using my PTSD that I got as a child, not from service, but as a child, from being a rape and molestation victim for years. That's where my PTSD came from. That Criminality was letting CJ, Greeno, and others come on her platform, along with others like Christina, to use my PTSD I got as a child on why I should be mentally ill. I'm mentally retarded. I shouldn't be believed. Getting help by Julie and her friends and the girls' rule, their content creator best buddies. And why? Is because they can't afford them going behind bars, seeing a day of justice for what they have allowed. Multiple missing and murdered cases. Their family is involved. That cartel is involved. They and their family have done nothing but keep the truth seen only by them and their family and friends and these little groups of theirs. And what they don't want you to see is the true crime community seeing how dangerous the true crime community can do on uncovering and exposing every single piece of truth and getting real justice. They know what that true crime community, as a whole, can do. And they cannot afford themselves and their family and friends going behind bars. More than one missing and murdered case that they have actively and still are actively hiding intel. When the defense was begging for anybody that knew intel on Elvis Fields, his family and his friends, anything on Elvis Fields, Julie Melvin, her friends and the girls' rules like Shelley Collins, as you're singing now, was keeping this from you, the public, from the true crime community. Only the selected, befriended, entrusted, and praised content creators will they allow that to be seen on their platforms, so long as they can control the narrative and who and what, where's, and how they look. So long as they can control the narrative and hide and protect their family and their friends, as the content creators, they make sure to praise and sending the chat members. Judy Hathaway, all these individuals you're seeing right here, there's tons of them. I got every single message. I got every single text, like Jenny Kroom, her recorded phone calls where she was telling me if I was to expose Brittany Mossholder and her Mossholder family, being longtime friends with more than one serial killer, dealer turned serial killer, and other dealers turned killers in that ring, and missing murder cases that they are sitting friends and helped protect. Calls that Jenny Kroom sent me, I recorded the whole conversation where she was telling me if I cared for my life, if I knew what the fuck was best for me in my life, and if I cared for my life, I'd shut the fuck up. Otherwise, all she have to do is make a few phone calls to her family and friends, and she'd make sure I'd be shut up one way or another. Every single text, call, email, Facebook message, I record everything. So one thing FBI, after 10 years of being an FBI informant, has taught me anything is to document everything, no matter how big or small. Because just because I thought it was something small, insignificant, didn't mean anything, just because I thought that then, just like I documented and proved. Just wait till you see the texts and calls out of Shelley admitting and breaking down and admitting that, yeah, her and her husband, Richard Collins, was meeting with George Stanley and Elvis and his family and friends multiple times there at his family and friends right there in Rushville. Her and her family are longtime friends of George Stanley, others. But yeah, her befriending Julie Melvin, Jenny Kroom, and a few others that have everything to hide when it comes to their own family and friends being involved with that cartel drug ring behind multiple missing and murdered targeted terrorist attacks. Mind you, it's a foreign terrorist organization, and giving aid to and protections to terrorists and a terrorist organization are felony. Felony counts. Then when you're tampering, intimidation, harassment, stalking, threats to my life, I was an active FBI informant. Time of Delphi. True crime and thief. You're a little X Reddit. Do you realize your friends that are best friends with many of the ones I just named? They don't want you to see, and why? Hmm. Yeah, giving me praise of thank you for everything I've done. But then when I started exposing you and your friends and your family and what you were trying to hide, you're praising me one minute, and then I'm a troll and I'm delusional. I'm mentally ill. I'm not all here. When I started exposing you and your friends and your family, protecting the same ones that you're saying you want justice for these child victims, these victims targeted and missing and murdered cases within the troubled community. Over 200 cases now, over 40 plus of these are children, all of the true crime community. This is groups that Shelley Collins. Oh, it gets worse. So while the defense was begging this group, all their friends, for anything they knew on Ellis Fields and others, they made sure not even the defense. Andy, of all people, I've met more than once in person, and I met many, many times with Matt Hoffman. What Matt Hoffman refused to push to Andy was things just like this. Hmm. But I'm gonna let this kind of sit. We're gonna end this off right now. I've got plenty more. I was confronting the right people, pushing the right direction. I was trying to shine the light in the right direction. They and their friends, these groups, have done nothing but hide the truth, hide the right direction, and hide the light I've been trying to show for years now. All you had to do is listen and look. Instead of joining on with them, their friends, the content creators, the attacks on me, the federal violations using my disabilities, targeting those like, oh, criminality having CJ come up as hunting testicles, true crime with a tinfoil hat. I'm not so tinfoil now. You all have been helping the wrong side for years now escape justice. This is just a taste of what's to come. And it took me getting congressional help from outside of Indiana, federal, and DC, with more than one federal agencies and more than one congressional reps. Why it's congressional is when you have a Joint Terrorism Task Force chair member sitting longtime friends with cartel members and other terrorist organizations, kingpins, family and friends. The chairman of the Indiana Joint Terrorism Task Force, he's a long friend of Matthew Elkins, Curtis Fouts, Jamie Noel. Ain't that right, James, aka Jim Buck? And all of you guys just now taking years to catch on. Wait till you find out the Richard Allen cop, school resource officer, Richard Allen, all the cartel, the active MS-13, the cartel drug houses in Delphi. Look up the Richard Allen Ferguson, the school resource officer, why the Delphi and four girls went to school there in Carroll County, one of the school resource officers. If he knew all about this cartel and the corrupt politicians, all in the sake of his KPD retirement and his best friends, what they don't want you to see and hear or look in the right direction. So many eyes and so many heads are about to roll. Operation Geronimo's in the works of starting. It's hundreds and thousands, multi-state federal raids. Over 200 missing and murdered, targeted missing and murdered cases. Over 40 of these are children. All of the targeted, true facts that back this. All of these cases. This is just 200. There's over 300 plus across 12 different states. And this is what Julie and her friends and their family, that cartel don't want you to see. All hell's about to break loose. TikTok.